Let's go racing. How do you like yourself some F1? We are T minus 28 minutes away from FP1 Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, Corniche, chaos settings, low downforce, threading the needle, high consequences, automotive pugilism. How do you like yourself some Formula? It's going to get techie. What's going on, little grey school? Come on, Max, don't let me down. I think he'll go well today. I think he'll go well around this track. Again, if past his prologue, he's not been half bad, right? He's always missed the podium around here. And again, one of the greatest non-laps to ever non-lap, 2021 qualifying. You understand what time it is. He's not bad. He's not bad as this Max Verstappen fella. Cam needs to apologise to absolutely no one, Miami. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I was quite fair. I retracted. I reneged ever so slightly early on when we were talking about Lewis. I tried to give the dude a bit of grace, do you know what I mean? I heard somebody talking about his stint on the mediums, that he was ultra fast, that he came to life. Chris Harris on cars, by the way. I mean, I did the maths, and it looked like Charles Leclerc was gapping him to the tune of 0.7 seconds a lap. But what do I know? Who am I to... do you know what I mean? My unique brand of truth, value, and objectivity apparently isn't appreciated in the community that I so love and hold dear to my heart. You know what I mean? Oh dear. Let's go, little grey squirrel. Oh dear, Daniel, what's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, hello, Cameron. Antibiotics are working. Umanch, I've been on it. But you can still, it's there. It's not gone. It's still there. I've got the honey and the bloody lemon and the ginger, so I'll be drinking throughout. I hope your channel keeps growing, mate. Good discussions, and more importantly, a good voice for the dive bomb. I appreciate you saying that. Look, you know what? As we get our first shot of the man, the myth, the legend, Oscar Piastri, the man of the moment, come of the hour, and all that. I'll say this. My name is above the door. That's it. Full stop. New paragraph for me. Here talking. This channel is your guys's. Genuinely, I mean that. I'll keep saying it. It sounds like I'm labouring the point, but I'm grateful ad infinitum in extremis to each and every single one of you who humour me on my not so eloquent F1 soliloquy monologue talking extempore. This is a conversation. F1's modes of discourse, and I can't be on here monologuing. I need you guys as friction. I am your wingman per se. Lando Norris talks again about being honest. Chris Harris on cars just now, as I was listening to it, said Lando needs to stop worrying about the things that he's worrying about. It's brilliant. A brilliant way of terming it. It's very circular. He's worrying about the things that he's worrying about, isn't he? The press, the media, the mistakes, the errors of the unforced variety. Now Oscar Piastri is a brilliant piece later. We'll touch on it. In fact, I'll tell you guys now. Chris Harris is Manish Pandey, the exec producer of Senna, who's also on the Chris Harris on Cars podcast. And he says the problem with Oscar Piastri as versus Lando is that Lando's been a McLaren man for the longest, right? He knows nothing other than McLaren. And what comes with that is hard times, losing Sochi, being perpetual losers. So Lando's acutely aware and acquainted with what it looks like and feels like to lose routinely in the weird and wacky world that is Formula One. That's a feeling that he can't unwind. He can't unforget or unsee that, Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri, on the other hand, jumps into F2, wins first time round, jumps into F3, wins maiden voyage, jumps into Formula One finally after 2 years worth of sitting on the bench over at Alpine. And he comes with this entitlement and privilege, right? Winner's privilege. Yeah, of course, over the last 2 years, he hasn't been winning, but that's the only 2 years where he hasn't been winning. So Oscar doesn't really know how to lose. He's not as acutely aware of it, and it hasn't touched his DNA in the same way that it has Lando's. And so that's the Lando gift, right? It reminded me, the way that Manish Pandey described it, it reminded me of the difference in the way that Mark Hughes talks about Lewis versus Max. That Lewis came at not the hard way necessarily, but fighting, scratching, clawing for every sinew, trying to grab every F1 opportunity at the scruff of its neck. So fleeting were they, so close was Lewis Hamilton's career to never ever blooming, never ever blossoming from a caterpillar into a butterfly. Dad had to work 10 gazillion thousand jobs concurrently. It was techie, but for the chance meeting with Ron Dennis and a couple Grand Prix during GP2 when he was god tier, Lewis may never ever have made it through to F1, in stark contrast to Maximilian Verstappen, whose godfather was Michael Schumacher, whose dad's teammate was Michael Schumacher, who went on holiday with an F1 driver and his dad and Michael Schumacher and family. WTF. Of course, Max Verstappen is one of the best to ever do. Of course, has there ever been a driver in history who was more born to do it than Max Verstappen? So it's very different. Their aspects, the angles at which or from which they attack Formula One and their careers are very different. And then a similar story with, it is analogous as far as Oscar and Lando. Lando is he's inherently frail even by dint of his experience in F1. McLaren have been losers of late, long gone are the 2000s, the early 2000s, even at the late 90s when they were perpetual winners, habitual winners. Ron Dennis settings, 2007, Lewis Hamilton settings. Now Lando Norris has had to fight, scratch and claw, and only now is he just seeing the fruit of his labours, when many, myself included, thought McLaren may never ever come back to the fore, may never ever start to win races and therefore championships. Now they're nailing it. T-minus 21 minutes away from a cheeky FP1 at the Saudi Arabian track, round 4 or round 5 even, the 2025 Driver Championships F1. How do you like yourself, son? No, but I thought that was interesting. Benzi says it's all Sky F1 focus on Lando. Lando struggles. Lando needs to change car. No, so Benzi, and then there's another. I'll link this Chris Harris on F1. It's one of the best podcasts. They talk a lot about cars and auto. If you like your road cars, then you'll appreciate this podcast. But they always do an F1 segment, and in there, because they're so. I mean, Chris Harris is doing the Luca Montezemolo biography or docu-pick or whatever, Manish Pandey executive. So they're all linked to F1 weirdly, so that when they speak and expound upon their experiences and how they're viewing what we're seeing in F1, insight is never far from their touch. Just looking at Max doing the driver's press conference. Have you seen this, chat? Talked about it earlier. Max, he was not pulling any punches, was he? Much to the disenchantment. Oh, the humanity, they said. How rude is Max Verstappen? How very dare he talk to David Croft like that? Well, do you know what I mean? Ask silly questions. Sometimes you will get silly answers. I would contend that Croft is house and wise, as somebody who's interviewed quite a few people in my time. Sometimes you got to ask the question and full stop it and move on. Do you know what I mean? Crofty kept poking, and then eventually Max told him, well, why don't you just stick to comment? Chaos Merchant, go on. And it's just to put a bookend, to put a full stop on this Lando Norris Oscar Piastri story, because I think this might be the big, in conjunction of course with Max Verstappen and Red Bull, I think this might be the story that carries the weekend. To the Lando Norris aspect, of course, confidence is currency in addition to bandwidth. But I think, how do I term this diplomatically? Andrea Stella, again, this is me recanting per Chris Harris on Cars podcast. I want to say Manish Pandey, one of them, said that Andrea Stella is the most straight shooting of team principals, as at the 18th of the 4th, 2025, 12 minutes past 2, that he always tells the truth. And apparently post the Bahrain Grand Prix last race weekend, Andrea Stella said something to this effect: that there have been changes in the car made from 2024 and the MCL 3.8 as versus 2025 and the MCL 3.9. There have been a couple of changes. Of course, we see the brake duct. Of course, they've focused more on anti-dive. They've been very ambitious as far as the front suspension. And if I'm a thinking F1 man, I would argue that it's got something to do with that. But Andreas Stella, get to the point, Cameron. Andreas Stella said there's been changes made to the car between this year and last, and those don't suit Lando Norris's style. But I understand who Lando Norris is, and he has all of the adaptability. Lest we forget that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, particularly in the Piranha's tank that is F1, but the most adaptable to change. And so Andreas Stella concludes, I know who Lando is, and I know that he will be able to turn it around by dint of adapting his driving style to the car and its handling dynamic. And I thought that's pertinent. I hadn't heard Andreas Stella say that, but again, Chris Harris said it on Chris Harris on Cars, and I think that's interesting. What are they talking about then, chat? Eman, sorry, what are you saying, Eman? Benzi, it's going to be a story about Oscar this weekend, I think, ladies and gents. We'll get onto it. I'll tell you what I think. Crafty baiting Max is a techie. Andre, right now we can always count on Lando to find something wrong where there is nothing wrong. Worrying about what he's worrying. I think that's the best phrase that I've ever heard about Lando. It summarises perfectly his countenance and where his mental fortitude or lack thereof is at. Stop worrying about what you're worrying about. Just do as the Joker in The Dark Knight. You know what I mean? Just chase cars, Lando. Just be, as Peter Wins, a friend of the channel, would say, just be a grizzled racer. Just find, I keep saying just as if this is easy things to do. You know what I mean? Easier said than done, but I don't know. So go on then. What do we know about Lando's driving style? So he's more of a U-turn merchant, a wide line type driver as versus Oscar Jack Piastri's short corner style, V-line style per Peter D. Windsor. What do I mean by that? Well, somebody mentioned once upon a time that Oscar Piastri was, in his younger days, a god-tier remote control car guy. And in order to understand that, a very high level one, by the way, and in order to do that, you've got to have an understanding, an acute one, of what it is to V-line a car, especially on your low minimum speed turns, right, where you'll make all the difference. V-line is, of course, straightening a brake line to the apex of the turn and then allowing the instability of the rear, especially in a ground effect era car, to float around you. Max Verstappen styling. Oscar Piastri has that in his locker. Another thing that I've read, Mark Hughes says this about Oscar Piastri, as far as the difference between him and Lando, is that they're less overlappy as far as their inputs. Inputs being, of course, your steering, your throttle, and your brake. That Lando, by dint of his U-turn or U steering glide style, very wide lined, always accentuating for the geometric racing line. Oscar Piastri is doing something very different, both as far as the line and as far as his inputs. Lando is overlapping. So the steering and the throttle and the brake, he's not using them in isolation, whereas Oscar Piastri, particularly on the brake and the throttle, is either on or off one. Obviously trail braking, so not 100% times, but there is a mutual exclusivity to Oscar Piastri in the way that he plies his trade as far as the accelerator, the throttle pedal, and the brakes. Whereas Lando Norris is sometimes not confused necessarily in his inputs, but he's overlappy, more overlappy at least, than one Oscar Piastri. Mark Hughes' words, not mine. And that will make a difference in a car that's so bloody focused that gets all of its lap time in anti-dive at the front and anti-squat in the back, right? Don't want to confuse the car in terms a sense of mechanical and aerodynamic empathy is what Oscar Piastri embodies. Benzi says lower lap time predicts Oscar and Max. And well, to be fair, lower lap time, not to call my old mate out, but last year he was saying that Lando was going to beat Max. So do you know what I mean? I don't want to. His logic might be on. My crystal ball is as murky as the next person's. But I mean, if we're going to hold people to account, then me and him had an argument last year about whether Max he jumped on the bandwagon then, saying that per Will Buxton that Lando Norris was going to win the Drivers' Championship when everybody was getting in on the bandwagon. Do you know what I mean? So I can't. I mean, nobody, but that's me. It'd be me being a bit unfair. Nobody bats 1,000 in this game. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes you got to hold people to account, eh? I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's too emotional to be a ruthless driver. Lando needs to surprise everybody, especially himself, to win a WDC. He's got to be, go on then, T-minus 13 minutes away, and we're going to get ourselves some info. Jeddah, just quick, this Jeddah Corniche track, eh? Super quick. Quick even. It's Max Verstappen snapping 2:02.1 that I was watching today. Just chaos. I don't think I've ever seen that lap. Just puts hairs on my chest every single time when I watch it. All right, Blue. Well, we welcome disagreements, unlike Nasha very much. Nasha's a good. Like we go hard on camera, but Nasha's one of the. I'll speak honestly and open. He won't mind me saying that. Nasha's one of the good ones. He's a good guy. We disagree. I mean, if he wasn't a good guy, I wouldn't have him on. Anybody that you see on the channel as at April 2025 is a decent guy, devoid of pomp, embodied by humility, because I can't work with people that don't have that in their locker. Joe Cammy. So at race will what race will McLarens take each other? So to that point, you know, I think, right, since we're talking Lando or not, they'll have a coming together at some point, probably. However, one thing that Oscar's very good at, if you look at Oscar's overtakes, if we're going to get techie and deep dive it so early on, T-minus 12 minutes to get ourselves an FP1. If we're talking about Oscar, I think his genius last year was what he lacked in pace in absolute terms, particularly in qualifying as versus Lando. 20 versus 4 is how much Lando Norris beat Oscar Piastri in qualifying, including sprint races, in 2024 quicker. He was just faster. That's just the honest truth, was Lando. But what Oscar had in hand is that every single time he had an opportunity to make an overtake, Exhibit A, see Italian Grand Prix Chicane 2. Exhibit B, see the overtaking manoeuvre that he pulled off on Charles Leclerc, modern day Journalese. He's clinical, forensic in terms of his accuracy and his positioning of the car. Go back and watch that Baku overtake on Charles Leclerc. Chaos, chat. You shouldn't be able to pull that. He's within a paper. The gap between his right side of his car and those wheels and the barrier, the wall, you could barely fit an A4 piece of paper. That's how forensic this dude is as far as his longitude, his awareness and longitude and latitude of his car. He's properly clinical. Forensic is probably a better word. I saw those guys talk bloody Nora. I'll tell you about this quickly before I forget. Talking points 1 and all. Go and check out Chris Harris on cars. Keep dropping things. What am I doing? I apologise, chat. I keep dropping my SH1T all over the place. Antonelli. Chris Harris on cars again. Go and watch it. I'm plagiarising his ideas and the talking points there, but this is a conversation, eh? Kimi Antonelli. Manish Panda said, why is Kimi Antonelli, as the latest and greatest Italian driver, not driving for Ferrari? How comes they allowed, if that's not a faux pas, then I don't know what is. Like, how did the Italian team, the Tifosi, red car, yellow badge, black prancing horse and all of that, how did they allow Kimi Antonelli, the next Italian driver? I mean, the probably the best, not the best one necessarily, Fisichella was good, but like the one most capable of winning a championship since Giuseppe Farina in 1950. He was the only ever Italian to win a championship, even at the driver variety, T-minus 9 minutes. I thought that was an interesting point, especially against the backdrop of many questions being asked of the rate at which Sir Lewis is acclimatising to that car and that SF25 circumstance. Difficult to drive, isn't it? Rear instability that Charles Leclerc is weaponising for. I don't know what this dude was taught. I don't know what Chris Harris was on about, to be fair, when he said that. I don't know what he was talking about when he said that Lewis Hamilton was cooking on gas. I did the maths. You only need to go back and watch my video and you can see the deltas on the right hand side, right? And just before, there was about 4 laps there. Maybe there was something else and I need to watch the race. Maybe there's another set of like circumstances and maybe he got held up or made a mistake. Maybe there's some anomalies that I didn't account for, but there was 4 laps there, 4 or 5 laps there before the safety car. Charles Leclerc was down the road, and then the 20 laps post the safety car. If we're comparing and contrasting, which to a certain degree is unfair, because Lewis Hamilton is 4 races deep and Charles Leclerc is like 4 years deep or 5 years deep at this point probably. So it is an unfair comparison. It's apples and apples, but nevertheless, Sir Lewis Hamilton is so good, so competent, so brilliant a driver, such a whirling dervish even of an F1 peddler, that he's always going to get compared to Charles Leclerc, even at race 4, and therein lies the issue. That's the prejudice. That is the circumstance that presents itself to Lewis Hamilton. It's always going to be. It's far too good to make excuses, and that's why I get into beef with the fan base when they're like, "Oh, Cameron, you're too hot." He's a 7-time world champion. He might be the best peddler that I've ever seen, maybe ever will see. So don't give me this bloody excuse and start to. Lewis Hamilton doesn't need any head starts. Doesn't need grace. Because if you've seen him drive like I've seen him drive down the years, you'll understand what a fire-breathing dragon that dude is. Now, he came out today, you heard his comments. Listen, it needs time, and listen, people are always going to talk. Everyone will have an opinion. It feels like he was responding to my tweet directly. Almost. People always have something to say. The clap back from Sir Lewis, Carl Davidson, Hamilton. And sometimes you've got to hold some corn, Cameron? If you're going to talk truth, if you're going to talk ill, you're going to get smashed by such an extreme, such a devoted fan base. It's always going to happen, though. Chat shit, get banged. Excuse my language. JB Vardy settings. That's always going to happen, yeah. I'm prepared for it, but it's truth. This, and you know what? Ultimately, if I'm covering the sport, then you guys will call me out on my bull feathers, if indeed I grow a reputation for talking nonsense. I tell you what, you know, this is why you guys mentioning about the low lap time prediction. If got to call people out when they talk rubbish, not talk rubbish, but if somebody says something that's evidently incorrect, then of course you've got to call them out. As someone, I'm not a journalist, but I cover the sport. If every single time I come to you and you see not necessarily my outcomes, but my processes and thoughts, the way in which I outline the way that I'm thinking and the way in which I'm ingesting the sport, if you can poke holes in it frequently, then there's no need to come to the channel, right? Like what are we doing here? What sort of value would I be adding? And so that's the restaurant at which I dine as far as my unique brand of content creation. I won't bat 1,000. Nobody does. But as far as my processes, you'll be able to understand. Do you know what I mean? When we talk about Saudi Arabia Corniche coming up, you'll know that Max Verstappen loves it around here. Why? Because he's a quick turn merchant, isn't he? And a slow turn merchant now. Like, he can do both. But you understand the point. You'll understand the methodology, if not the outcomes, the ultimate outcome. Right, let's go. Let's talk. We are T-minus 4 minutes away from FP1, and I'm here for it. These were just the opinions of Mr. C, 100%. Safak in the house, let's go. Can you guys see this? Let me just make sure that I'm not... Get ourselves a cheeky 290 if you're watching Kokoli. Do me a favour and smash the like. I feel like we've gone in. Who do you think is the best? If you compare oh, bloody Nora, Vinny. It's too hard, that. It's close. It's close, mate. I would love to see it. I mean, I feel like we probably saw it in 2021, in equal-ish machinery. Oh, the humanity. Let's go. Hamilton, says Addy. Yeah, I know. Can you imagine, Shogun? I apologise. I tried to steer clear. I think the channel ultimately will go to a place when expletives will become commonplace, sadly. But I'm not there yet. I suppose sometimes you've got to feel and react, and there's not always time to filtrate out for expletives. I apologise, though. Getting a cheeky rundown. 6.174 kilometres, 3.836 miles. The race will be 50 laps. 1 minute 30.734 is the lap record. Lewis Hamilton. 2.5 metre elevation. Top speed is 342 kilometres per hour. It's taking this a straight line. I want to say something like 75% of this lap is full throttle settings. C5, C4, C3 this year. So one step softer than it was last year. And that's going to be interesting because why? Well, because they're going to need to mitigate and manage for the rate at which their tyres are degrading around one of the most demanding courses in terms of graining and tyre degradation. Backside nearly fell. Kayori, you're a legend. Kayori, you know what Kayori mean? You need to have a chat. I saw somebody talking all sorts of pee-hole, telling me that I'm a pee-hole this. I'm a this, and this. I thought, what? You know what? Kayori, they don't know, you know. I don't think they realise. I don't think they understand. I try to put forth the most whistling Vivaldi aspect of my character on this channel, but do you know what I mean? I will I'm not even going to go there, Kyrie, but we'll talk Kyrie at some point. What's going on, Safa? To your question, Vinny, I don't know. I plead the fifth if we're talking those very... I mean, it's hard. How do you... I don't know. It's hard to pick between my two favourite drivers in Max and Lewis. Like, do you know what I mean? I've been with Lewis the longest time. Maybe I'm a bit of a glory supporter since I eulogise so openly and so frequently about Max's brilliance. But the restaurant from which I dine most frequently has always been, will always be, is Sporting Endeavour par excellence, like the upper echelons of it. And so which driver, not named Max Verstappen, has been the most frequent exponent of that over the past 3 years? Name him for me. He's got a name and his name is Maximilian Verstappen. What do you mean? Oh, the humanity. By the way, there's merch coming out. I'm telling you, it's going to get... Did you guys see Seb's piece about Lewis at Ferrari? I mean, he's been talking as Seb all this time. I can probably guess. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Seb's been talking a lot about Lando as well, hasn't he? Oh, Lando's mental health, like mental fortitude or lack thereof, is to be commended. The fact that he taught... Stop worrying about what you're worrying about, chap. T-minus 60 seconds till we get ourselves a cheeky FP1, and I'm going to get up some metrics. Bear with. Talk amongst yourselves at the back. Are we quiet? Well then, let's begin. Oh, the humanity. All right, let's go. Saudi Arabia, round 5. Round 6 will be Miami Grand Prix next up. Emilia Romagna at Imola will be next after that. Round 7. And there you're going to get some serious upgrades. Apparently, at the altar of the bulls that are red, it will be interesting. Oh, the humanity, says General G. I can't believe I'm back to the early... Oh, no, Turtle. I know, I feel the pain, Turtle. I felt it particularly this year since we were live streaming each and every single session, eh? It's not fair. European living privilege is unacceptable, and I'm aware now more than I ever have been of that privilege. But you guys are... I know the commitment. I don't know. I don't think I could do it, you know, chat. To be honest with you, if I were living in like the States or stuff, I'd have to start following boxing again or UFC. Do you know what I mean? A sport, NFL, basketball. A sport that's much more amenable as far as its schedule, timing wise. It's just too Foxy scorched stuff. We've got to go scorched stuff from time to time. Foxy, you'll excuse me, but I don't know. You've got to, yeah, you got to go scorched stuff. The F1 space is far too sanitized and buttoned up neatly for my liking. Sometimes you gotta react to it, properly. Well, let's have a go. See if this works. New merch out, by the way. I'm telling you, it's going to get techie. Supermax t-shirt out very soon, and it's God tier. Even if I do say so myself. And there's Lewis Hamilton merch coming out soon, which will also be God tier, by the way. Each and every single time. There we go. Here he is. Okay, let's go. Metrics. Once again, brought to you by our mates over at Multiviewer. If you like this and much, much more, Speed Trap Top, everything is there. Much, much more than I can show you on screen. Go and get yourself over some Multiviewer app. Download it on a PC or a laptop. Pair it with an F1 TV subscription, and you are Gucci. Good to go. Perfect. Right, let me just do one of these. And let me do one of these. Get this on the go. Right. Super Max will get one of these. Team LH out on track. I don't care about swearing. Foxy, it's going to have to happen. Cam, you rattling call LH on Twitter. Love it, lads. There you go. Not deliberately. Yeah, like I would tell the truth, but it wasn't meant to go that far. Do you know what I mean? But ultimately, all I did was say, Lewis said this. Lewis did this. Oh, you Uncle Tom, you bounty. Oh, you're not a Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, of course I'm not a Lewis Hamilton fan. Do you know what I mean? You always know the douchebags, the morons, the abbots of unreason. You can tell them by their language. If they tell you who you are from who you're not, when all they know you through is Twitter and YouTube. I mean, you guys did the maths. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you are an abbot of unreason, therefore self-declared. How do you don't know me? You don't know me from Adam, and you want to tell me who I am from who I am not at the altar of some Lewis Hamilton fandom. Behave yourself. You know what Nasha said to me the other day? He goes, "Stop trying to suck the balls of Maximilian Verstappen." Well, I should have said to Nasha then, "How very dare you tell me that I'm trying to suck the balls of anybody," when that's all that Lewis Hamilton extremists and fundamentalists do. Feels like they want to lay with Sir Lewis, but I digress. Got me going scorched earth, but whatever. How very dare you? That's very rude of me, but you know what I mean. Cam's merch, Foxy. I'm telling you, Foxy. There's a big drop coming. By the next time we talk, between now and the next time we talk, there will be a proper thing on there, a Max Verstappen thing on there. It's going to get to, I'll tell you, it will be very chaotic, I promise. Right, what do you think? Let me see the Lewis Hamilton. It's coming, Coyote, I promise, and it's going to be God tier. You know, I've clocked. There's a couple things in the space that I don't like. There are a couple things that I really, really don't like. I don't like the way everything's too buttoned up and everybody's afraid to speak their mind. And again, I'm looking to, if you're not prepared to change it, then you are choosing it. So I'm trying to change it out here. What else? Where's the merch that I can buy? Yeah, Quick Stop do some decent stuff, but it's not I'm not snazzy enough for that stuff. I want to see some merch that I would want to purchase. Do you know what I mean? Stop pretending that you don't know the answer to price. Who much? I don't know. It's close too much. I know you're going Max Verstappen with that equation. Correct the former. It's tough, Coyote. It's tough. Yeah, the Lewis one's going to be God. I'm telling you, Coyote. I just want to be. Oh, the Canteen Whisperer shirt. You guys are kidding me. Right, let's go. Oh, here he is already. Oscar Piastri, top of your timing sheets. That was bloody quick, mate. So what I'm looking for, here's what I'm looking out for as far as plot lines. Because I think what's developing, Giovanni, you're an absolute legend. Don't mind the expletives. However, your channel is above the fray because of its equality and your Giovanni. Moved, sir. Like those sort of comments, like honestly, proper. But again, I rebut or would be as follows, Giovanni. Without you guys out here keeping me honest, you know what I mean, putting a wheel up my inside, linguistically speaking, then this channel is nothing. It's a fan channel, and it's motivated by modes of discourse. And without you guys each and every single time, where would that be? It would all fade to black. Thank you though, Giovanni. You're a legend and far too kind as always. Michael, if we're talking about Lewis's 8th, mind telling us about one in 2008. Let's be fair. There's something like, so again, Chris Harris on cars. Bartek, you're an absolute legend. Thank you for being a member. And you can be a member if you want to be. Just hit the button join at the bottom of your screen, bottom right, and that'll get you priority in the chat each and every single time. Access to the Discord where we continue F1 modes of conversation. And so too some sexy emojis each and every single time. And a newsletter on a community tab from time to time. I was Googling yesterday, wanted to know more about the history of McLaren. So Bruce McLaren, he died at 32. I was flabbergasted by that. He's the twin of Oscar. Who looks more alike, Franco Colapinto and Ayrton Senna, or Bruce McLaren and Oscar Piastri? They look the same. Cam, your take on Lewis's circumstance was apt, says Shogun. He needs to lock in now more than ever. Given the way the odds are stacked up against him, he can do all the celebrity socialising once he's done right. Shogun, I couldn't agree more. So it's a simple point, but again, so aggressively passionate are the fan base. If you say X about Sir Lewis Hamilton, then they'll say Y. Even if you capture and recount Lewis's own words. Oh, Cameron, you're an Uncle Tom, this, that, the other. Luckily for me, my shoulders are sufficiently broad and my skin now sufficiently calloused to where I just think if it's a reasonable argument that we're having, cool. If it's going to be based in some semblance of reality, and if we're going to take off our Abbott of Unreason caps, then cool. But I mean, Shogun, there's nothing controversial with what you've said there, nor with what I said previously on Twitter. But again, extremists are going to extreme, aren't they? Are they not? F1 has always loved the Maverick. If you are wanting to go against the establishment, you are an excellent company. Match average 100% wins, 100% Giovanni. Thank you. Lando's average. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm looking for that umbrella pen. Remco, I'm going to get it. I want to get that on the shop as well soon. I promise it's coming. It's a decent pen, this. Character and all that. What's up, Cam? What's going on, Neil? You're a legend. What are we beefing about today? It's a tranquil day. I'll tell you what we're going to be beefing about come the end of this race weekend. If I'm predicting, it will be the performance of... in fact, I'm not even going to say it. I can't do it. I can't do it. 19 wins, alleged asymmetric braking. 20 versus 2020, 11 wins. Confirmed. That's what are we doing here? Apples and apples, much. I love what you've done there, Joe. Renko, brilliant. Yes, Cam. Let's get a CC umbrella. Oh, Coyote, it's gonna have to be done, isn't it? It's gonna have to be done soon. Promise. Right, let's have a look. Lando Norris goes top of your timing sheets. Don't hate that on a 130.454. What I'm looking for from these sessions, as per as near as makes no difference, every racing session over the past couple of weekends, Oscar Piastri, when he goes purple, when you look at the sectors, he's gapping Lando to the tune of a tenth or two every single sector. Ergo, even if... Oh, here we go. Look at this. So Lando Norris quicker in sector 2, sector 3. If I were a betting man, I would bet that Oscar Piastri, because this track is quick turns, high speed, low downforce. And again, Zach Brown was the one who said, I love me some Lando Norris, adoptive son, but Oscar Piastri is quicker through their quick turns, minimum, high speed, low duration. Does that make sense? Shogun, you're a legend. Welcome to the club. And get yourself over to the community tab. I'll post there afterwards, and get yourself onto the Discord. You're a legend. It confuses me, people who allegedly love racing cars but are so hurt by comments and opinions. Little grey squirrel, is that... I would push back. I would argue that the inverse would be true, right? If you love racing cars and love racing drivers, then you get it would extend, therefore, that you would get defensive around your favourites. I think that's what's going on. But big up, mate. New fan of F1 last few years, and new subscriber to the channel. Big up. You're a legend, Adam. Thank you for the content, mate. This is your channel, Adam, more than it is mine. Do you know what I mean? F1 conversations, because I don't feel like too many people are out there having them. George Russell goes top of your timing sheets with T-minus 49 minutes and 16 seconds left on the docket with a 130.425. Nails himself some Sector 2. Your purple Sector 1 belongs to OJ Piastri. I feel like I'm expecting OJ to go well here. He might make a mug of me. Lando Norris on a quick one here. Sector 1, purple sector, as near as makes no difference. All of the micros, 32.9, 32.5. Oof, he clipped the wall. He clipped the wall. Somebody clipped the wall. You can't clip the wall, mate. It's not a good look. By George, I wouldn't count Max out. Oh no, 100% not Foxy. He's not bad around here. The problem with the 18-1 when you're talking about Max Verstappen putting it on pole at Suzuka, well, it shows you that the odds makers don't get it. They don't bat 1,000, do they? They don't get it right all the time. Cheeky Ollie Behrman rubbing up against the wall. after a couple weekends when he's been nothing if not brilliant, especially for a rookie. Not bad for a rookie, Ollie Bearman. 18-1, chat. Knowing what we know and the attention that we pay to F1, we should have all been on that 18-1. Max Verstappen, 18-1 to drop it on pole in Japan. What were we doing? Should have had my mortgage on that bet. 383 of you watching Kokoli, do me a favour and smash a like. Only 82 of you have thus far, and that breaks my heart. T-minus 47 minutes remaining of this FP1 round 5 Saudi Arabia. All right, Max can do his fastest lap of 21, but without hitting the wall. He did it a couple of years later, didn't he, Safak? I want to say last year. Was it 2023 or 24? Max Verstappen did his 2021 pole lap that was unfinished, but put sector 3 on it as well. I mean, that lap, look at me smiling already. That lap's reminiscent of Singapore 18 Hamilton. I want to say 2007 Silverstone Hamilton. One of the greatest qualifying laps that I don't even care. It's almost romantic, the fact that it didn't finish. Okay, Max made a mistake of the unforced variety, an uncharacteristic one, if ever you've seen it. But that set, the way they filmed it as well, and Crofty and Brundle's commentary, even the way that he crashed, and then cinematic, impossible theatre. Max walking back from the beached RB16B, Jos Verstappen slamming. Oh my God, you can't even. Impossible theatre, chat. A moment that I will never forget, genuinely. I think a degree of aggression is required to be a great driver, to enjoy watching it, but you can't take it. Don't hate it, little guy score. Stroll, oof. Front lockup, yeah. Bearman had a cheeky one, didn't he? Not good. Go on, you runners and riders, 377 of you in the chat concurrently. To whom, each and every single time, I am grateful in extremis. Renko says, I disagree, Cam. One should be able to take criticism or digs at your driver without going off at people. It's called being adults. Fair play. No, I hear you, Remco. I hear you. This is a very unique brand of rationalism that doesn't necessarily exist in abundance in the community, mate. The footballification. It's good and bad, right? What is the sport with? I mean, this is the yin and yang, the beauty and the beast of Formula One, that it comes with a passionate fan base now as a result, of course, of 2021 toxicity from both fan bases, to be fair, Max and Lewis. But it was circumstances, it was stakes, and it was chaos, and I hate you and you hate me. And then, of course, Drive to Survive, and so too the fact that F1 was one of the only internationally viewed sports, or internationally participated in sports, that was doing live events in 2021. It's a very weird. I get you, Remco, and I don't disagree, but I suppose I'm kind of more invested in the whys than the whats. And it's a weird one. Somebody needs to make a documentary. Maybe I'll do it someday. Easy now says, what's Easy G said? Oscar was down, now what? What? Oscar was down, now what? Silent you are. Easy G, chill out, chap. Let's have a word at the end of the session now. T-minus 44 minutes and 44 seconds left on the dock. Let's see where it ends up. I'm not saying that Oscar Piastri is going to nail Lando Norris again. Maybe Lando's done. If Easy G, if you're just dialed in, we talked about this to some extent earlier on at the outset. There we go. Oscar Piastri says he touched the wall, very small, but just have a check. Ferrari's in. Yeah, Oscar touched. That's like he just came over the radio. George has been right there also. Let's put some respect on George's name, Shogun. Holy smoke. I was reading about all in that final stint. Soft compound tyres aren't meant to go 24 laps or whatever. The first stint at the last race weekend, Bahrain, was some of them were doing 11 laps. So he did soft compound for 24 laps, and then he was dealing with all the bloody stupidness that, like, the DRS was the wrong button. When he wanted to talk to the pits, he hit the pit radio button, and that would bloody activate the DRS. Chaos amongst others. George has been good. They'd better put some research. I think this is why the Lewis Hamilton fan base, particularly the extremists, are so agitated, because they hate George Russell because he didn't want to wipe Lewis Hamilton's bottom for him. In the last year, not my words, Manish Pandey's words, that he mollywopped Lewis Hamilton in qualifying. And again, he was something like 30 points adrift was Lewis of George when all was said and done in the driver's standings. But if you normalise for Spa, when George Russell took the checkered flag, you got to add another 25 points onto that 30 points, right? And take 7 off. So you're nearer 60 points was the difference between George and Lewis. That's why Lewis Hamilton fans, oh my gosh, look at Antonelli. That's why Lewis Hamilton fans do not like King George of King George Russell. But again, you got to separate your subjectivity when you're assessing how good that dude's been this year. Mr. Consistency. No more is he Mr. Saturday. He's been brilliant in a car that's probably not the quickest one on the grid, eh? He's not been bad at all. My video was a bit delayed, so when he got, Oscar's radar. Yeah, I'm a bit delayed as well. You know me, Benzie, I'm always a bit delayed. So you're going to agree, everybody turns a blind eye when Oscar's down. ECG, chill out, mate. Like, I mean, he's not been, I mean, he's errors. But let's see where the land lies in 42 minutes time. George means business. Safak, he's not messing about. I'm not shocked, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Can you imagine? I'll tell you what the chaos is in all of this. Oh, the humanity. If George is this good for this long all season, and still Max Verstappen does one of these to King George and says, I'm going to put you in the dirt, mate, on your head into turn 1. Euphemistically speaking, I'm going to take your seat, chap, alongside your mate Kimi Antonelli. I think that's why me go. That's my the spitefulness is it. It's impossibly Max, isn't it? It'd be just like Max to kick out George Russell. Let's do the swapsy, mate. How about you try and drive this Red Bull and suffer at the hands of Christian Horner and all the gaping gaps by dint of the intellectual property, the god tier F1 minds that have left, named Newey, of course, Marshall, Fallows, Jonathan Wheatley, etc., etc. How about you suffer this? Let's see how you get on, King George. I've never liked you. I don't like you. Talk to all these gubbins. You said all this bad stuff about me in the face of the steers. Now hold this Red Bull corn, chap. Giovanni, you legend. I totally get the tribalism. I'm a GB born Italian. I'm passionate, but to be fair, and your channel elevates the conversation. But try to be fair, even, and your channel elevates the conversation to a discourse. Thinking man's Murray. Oh gosh, Giovanni, you're a legend. It's a privilege, mate. Honestly, channel again. I appreciate you, and I'm not going to be I'm not going to be flippant in your compliments, Giovanni. I appreciate it massively. But again, full stop, new paragraph. This is all you guys, Giovanni. Genuinely, Giovanni, Safak, Benzi, Chiba, Jomo, legendary moderator. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all you guys. It really is. We don't have a conversation to be had if there's no X to my Y. Do you know what I mean? Coyote, exactly that. Legend. I know Murray Walker's Murray effing Walker. Tech appeal. I don't hate that. Yeah, too kind. You're a legend, Giovanni. Thank you so much. Hanny, you must be a storyteller. You have a good voice. I mean, I like this. I saw on Reddit they were cursing me saying, "No, he likes the sound of his own voice." I mean, I do try to step in a. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm cut from Murray's cloth or Brundle, do you know what I mean? But I've listened to enough of those guys to at least attempt to replicate them and Mr. Wynn's a friend of the channel, replicate their very unique and engaging style of telling stories. Do you know what I mean? In a way that's edutainment, bringing that into 2025 and making it, telling it, narrating it in a way that's palatable and digestible, all the while bringing the pertinent plot lines to life, right? In a way that hopefully there's not too many F1 content creators doing, but I digress. Currently top of your timing sheets as we are on break. King George Russell of King's Lynn, Norfolk on a 29.674. 3/10 adrift of him is one Lando Norris. And again, I suppose the broader context for FP1 is that this is a testing session, a 60-minute one with T-minus 38 minutes and 40 seconds left on the docket. They'll be testing here, trying out setups, making sure that they've optimized for qualifying, which will be important, by the way, because it'd be very difficult to overtake around here, notwithstanding the rate at which the tyres will deg and they'll suffer with graining. But pole is king. Clean air is king, in the words of one OJ Piastri. Qualifying, therefore, will be pole, will be a premium. Track position will be at a premium. Second on the timing sheet, with T minus 38 minutes remaining on the ducks, is Lando Norris with a 29.9. Max Verstappen shortly thereafter with a 130 flat. Tsunoda, Gasly. Tsunoda, look at that. Only 2/10 adrift of Max Verstappen. That's what he's there to do. But again, this isn't timing. This is all due diligence, is it not? Gasly in fifth. Gasly, what is going on with the Alpine chat? What are we doing here? That Alpine, down on brake horsepowers versus the other protagonists. And yet, and still, look at where Pierre Gasly's putting that car. Fifth, mate. But again, maybe we shouldn't be reading too much. This is not a paid session. It does not matter. Sixth, OJ Piastri. Sainz, Albon, Antonelli, Leclerc. I apologise, by the way, earlier for those of you who saw me doing a nosedive per se earlier on. Absolute insane. But again, I do you know what I mean? Give me some grace. I'm struggling here. You know what I mean? So that's unacceptable. I apologise for anybody who saw that. Yuki doing great. Benzi, Jomo and Chiba, you guys are legends. You're tuned into the live F1 action. Glad to have you here. Whether you're Team Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, or rooting for the underdogs, drop a hello in the chat and tell us who you're backing. Jomo, you're a legend, chap. I'm grateful. So, T minus 36 minutes left on the docket. Ayao Komatsu on deck. Ayao Komatsu on deck. If you like yourself some proper enunciation. 415 of you in the chat can currently do me a favour, smash the like. 99 likes only, and I'm heartbroken. One stop, potentially soft medium, says Karan Chandak, potentially. Spelled wrong, sorry. Gasman is looking at podium this year based on the season. Not maybe Maker. Legend of the chat, Maker. Of course he's looking at that. They're all asking very silly questions at the moment. This race weekend has been characterised by silly questions. What are we doing here? It's nonsense. Learn how to ask the questions. Do you know what I mean? 39494. We are better than that, folks. I would agree with you, Chiba. Completely concur with those sentiments. Come on, Jack. I mean, Jack Doohan's been doing all right, hasn't he? I thought he'd be a gun by, and again, maybe I need to take myself to the truth pulpit and repent. I thought Jack Doohan would be gone. I will happily say that I didn't think he'd last to round 5. No chance. Just didn't see it. I didn't think it was a true thing. I thought Franco Colapinto would have been sandwiched into that seat already at this point in the season. But he's not been bad. He's a fighter, is Jack, and I don't hate that. Really, I don't hate that. I like that a lot. I like to see a fighter. It reminds me a lot of the way he drives the car, particularly from the onboard angle. It reminds me a lot of Fernando Penalonso, the man from Oviedo, Asturias. I like it. Aussies have waited 45 years since our last WDC winner. Sorry, but Lando will have to wait. This year is Oscar's year. I don't hate it. I think you might be. Well, you guys know that he's the favourite already. He's the favourite. You're a legend, Jomo, with a merch, and there will be some for Max Verstappen fans. God tier merch on there imminently, if not already. On Rain Limited Edition Rotterdam Sir Max 90s Hanny. I don't hate it, Joe. I don't hate it. Put that in a t-shirt. Chiba, it's coming. I promise you. It might be on there already. If it's not, between now and FP2, it will be. Promise. And I didn't even link the bloody Yuki Tsunoda, did I? Oh, what am I doing? I apologise. 396 of you in the chat. Right, let me link the Yuki bit. If you like yourself some Yuki merch, then have some of that. Too sad for Lando being so loyal to McLaren, but not Oscar's fault. I don't hate it, don't suck. I mean, if you invest in what the odds makers say, don't they have him? They've got Oscar at 40 winning. Okay, so if we run the championship from now to race 24 100 times as a simulation, they say that Oscar will win 44 of those times. Lando now will win 40 of them only. Ergo, Oscar Piastri is the favourite. As at the 18th of the 4th, 2025, at 5 minutes to 5 minutes to 3 even. T minus 32 minutes left on the docket. It's going to get techie, this. It is going to get techie. Everyone imagine if Alpine... Oh my gosh, Benzi. Did you hear the rumour? Ralf Schumacher. I didn't talk about this because I didn't want to give it any credence because I thought it was so rogue. Ralf Schumacher saying that Max Verstappen could go to Alpine. How desperate are we for headlines? I mean, I understand it. I get it. Brilliant image of Carlos Sainz riding a curb. But come on, Ralph. On the week when Michael Schumacher is helped by his wife to sign Jackie Stewart's helmet, Ralf Schumacher wants to talk about Max Verstappen going to Alpine. Hey, what do we do there? Come on, let's be serious. Go on, then, Oscar. Hello, Oscar. Purple, a bit yellows. You might go purple, set to 1 ear in a minute, but he's got a lot of yellows. 32.3 from Oscar. That's the quickest sector of the day. Oscar won 3 championships in a row before F1. He's not here to drive in, so don't sulk. I promise you. If you rewind, if you watch this again, the first 20 minutes we go into some like heavy detail. He doesn't know how to lose. Don't sulk. I will see you what you've said and I'll raise you this. He doesn't understand losing because he has never lost. In stark contrast to Lando, who's acutely aware of what losing looks like he's had to become. Green second sector from Oscar. I feel like Oscar, he's going for it. Look at this. Micro sector's purple. Green, purple from Oscar Piastri. He's about to go purple in sector 3 here. Yellow, micro sector. So cheeky mistake. Green again, he's going for it, is Oscar. It looks like he's going for it as well on the onboard. 129.674 is the pick to click as far as King George's time. Piastri's on it still, but yellow microsectors. Oh, goes second. 129.708. Wow. 0.03 adrift is what OJ Piastri is of, as versus King George Russell's market leading timers of a 129.67. Go on then, Lando. All eyes on Lando. You see, we're going back and forth. These guys are trying to build themselves a race weekend now, assert some form of dominance. He's got to clap back, hasn't he? Lando's Hulkenberg goes third top on your timing sheets in this FP1 session. Round 5, Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Jeddah Corniche. Lando Norris is about to go top here. 129.5 incoming from Lando Norris, methinks. Although yellow microsectors to the end of this. Oh my gosh, 129.2. What are we talking about here? Flipping Nora. Say it how you mean it, Lando. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're racing for championships or anything. It's quick from Lando. That's a statement of intent from Lando Norris. Talk to me nice, Lando Norris is saying. Lando had a risk, says Joe. Hulk is green, just occurred to the Hulk is green. Clive, Ralph has nothing to say and says it loudly. That's so brilliant. I love what you've done there. That's almost as brilliant as the boys and girls over on Chris Harris on Cars saying of Lando Norris that he worries about what he's worrying about. I think that encapsulates who Lando Norris is to a T. As at the 18th of the 4th, 2025. Daddy's not bad. Oscar is smart. He's very intelligent. You guys saw the video, right? Where he went through the tyres that people have outstanding going from quali at the Bahrain Grand Prix last time out into the race. It's like Max has got 2 mediums left. Leclerc's got hard. And so what? How do you know? How do you know off that? He's very intelligent. Is how he knows. Super intelligent. Right, let's go. Let me get my old... You see that, chat? Did you hear Karan Chandok just then? Hamilton 3/10 off Leclerc's time. This is a common theme, chat, and I don't like it. As a part-time Lewis Hamilton fan, a closet Lewis Hamilton fan. Diego, it's a trend, chap. Anywhere between 2 and 3/10 normally. Scroopy, and I was having the same discussion with Don't Sulk. OJ might be able to handle Verstappen, but can he handle Crash Verstappen? Max isn't the same when the grip of the championship is slipped. Bloody Noru, man. You sound a lot like Shez there. Shez would argue the same. I don't know, though. I don't know. It would be remiss of me to chime in on that just yet. I think Max has got one mode. He's got one gear, and that's the one that he drives in all the bloody time. 0.4 adrift is what Yuki Tsunoda is in Sector 1. No bueno. 450 of you watching concurrently, do me a favour and smash the like. The Brit commentators are in their element when Lando's head. Is that the worst thing in the world, Benzi? Go on, let's have a word of this. I tell you what, it's still my first sector. Can't turn the car. Still saying it's still understeer settings from Max. Bloody Nora, notwithstanding the old setup okie dokie. 373 of you watching Kakodi. Do me a favour, smash a like. Oh, the humanity indeed, Michael, the Brit commentator. Benzi, I get their commentators and they should be impartial. I understand it, but if you listen to the Spanish commentators, they go really hard in the paint. They go really, really hard in the paint for Fernando Alonso, to where I would argue the extent of the bias is audible. You can't negate it. It's just there and it's in your face. And they cheer Fernando Alonso, and I quite like hearing. Do you remember when Alonso held off Checo Perez a couple of cycles ago at the Brazilian Grand Prix? I quite like listening to the zone commentary, hearing them refer to Alonso as magic. He's just that guy. They go off on this big soliloquy, and like when you saw my reaction to Max Verstappen's lap at Suzuka, the pole lap, the god tieriest one. I think F1 needs more of that. I think they should almost double down, and just say, we're not biased. We are biased, and we're rooting for British drivers. I get that it's a conflict of interest because they're the internationally syndicated broadcast and the soundtrack to many non-British or non-English speaking countries all around the world, and so that's where they've got it's tough. But I enjoy listening to DAZN when they revel in Fernando Alonso, especially when he's in his pomp, like he was in holding off Checo Perez. Alonso's washed if he's got. Oh my gosh, Chiba, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, people of little faith, hit that like button and be very at Joanna, you're a legend. Let's go, Joe Cammy. Means a lot, mate. Means a lot. Lando Norris stops the timing sheet with a 129.2 still going again. Microsectors, purple, green, yellow from Lando Norris. He's going to try and go quicker, isn't he? I think he needs this, Lando. I think he needs to cessate for the expectations, pressure, doom loop that so encompasses him, that has him at the moment worrying about what he's worrying about. You can't do that. You got to. Peter Windsor, friend of the channel, always says it right. You've got to be a rough, grizzled F1 driver, nothing more or less. Full stop, new paragraph. And Lando's it is too noisy. Stella said it of Oscar Piastri that he has zero mental noise. He's just, you hear it on the radio, right? Ted Kravitz said, listen to the radio of Oscar Piastri. It's always like, copy. It'd be nice to have a drink. The drink is, but it's always like very punchy. Almost these monosyllabic stanza. It's like, yes, no. Like he hasn't got any time or care for anything else apart from lap time. And I think there's something to be said for that. Of course you can be Lewis, but to be that good and be so distracted is like it's anomalous. Carlos Sainz, let's go up to fourth on a 129.7. This, for the avoidance of doubt, is free practice 1, round 5, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So I think to be lit, that you can't look at Lewis and say, well, okay, it's good for you then to have a fashion interest and be at the Met Gala. Lewis is anomalous. You don't, just because he does it doesn't mean it's to be done, especially if you don't have that level of natural talent that Lewis Hamilton has behind the wheel of an F1 car. You can't look at that as like the blueprint. Not if you're oh my gosh, Pierre Gasly 129.2. What are we doing here? Oh my goodness, faster than Lando Norris. What are they putting to that Alpine? I'm waiting for the time when the FIA find something dodgy with that rear wing or something. A Fabio Briatore car. Nah. 20 brake horsepower down on the rest. Come on. You're going to tell me that Santa Claus is going to come down the chimney this year and deliver my Christmas presents next? I don't believe it. Stroll not dead last. Did you see how the Alpine looked? Bonkers, Neil. I don't understand it. I think it's lies. Breaking the space-time continuum is what Alpine are doing. I don't trust it. In months, I actually want to see Max's game being... So the only one to do that, I think Charles Leclerc knows how to race Max best, per their little dalliance at Silverstone many moons ago. As Cameron's voice starts going again. Look at this. Max the Alpine confirmed. Can you imagine? I do not understand the British bias thing. When half the top four at any one time is usually British, are they trying to tell me that the Dutch commentary don't get jazzed about Max? I think the difference, Tech Appeal, is though that the Dutch commentary isn't the internationally syndicated one. So Crofty and Brundle and co have to traverse this fine line, right? Because they go out to, like, you see them on F1 TV, like they're, you know, in testing at least, it's tough. It's really tough. If you want to see, go and watch the DAZN Spanish commentary. Chaos settings, proper bias. But you almost want to see. I like seeing the passion of the commentators that they have for Fernando Alonso. I think the commentary would be worse, but for that, I think they're almost handicapped at the Sky F1 bods by the fact that they're trying to be. It's this faux objectivity that they're trying to. Yeah, it's this faux line of objectivity that they're trying to traverse, for which they're trying to manage. It's rock on a hard place setting. Safak, you're a legend. I heard that Saudi Arabia is willing to buy Alpine. I heard that too. With the Merc engine, it would be a top car, says Ralph Schumacher. I heard that too, Safak. And you're too kind as always, Safak. S. Yoko. Oh my gosh, Lando had to back out of that quick time. Did the right thing. A cheeky Atlason. Is it Atlason? Atlason Williams just dawdling on the apex. Word, Cameron, only Shark can race Max and give him the taste of his own medicine. That fight will be a gift from the gods. Honestly, can't see OJ doing that. Can I see OJ taking it to Max? Not yet. His overtaking is ridiculous. You've seen him. But you don't need... Look, they always say about like young drivers that you don't... so early on in their career, like you can't judge them on consistency. For experience is the thing that they lack, and consistency will come as a function of that. What you judge them on is how bright their flame burns when they're in the mood, right? When they've had their Weetabix. So if you apply that to... Who likes this? It's not a bad circuit. So when you apply that to OJ Piastri, you're looking at Exhibit B last year, Baku. Okay, so you had the all cure that was the bloody mini DRS to hold off Charles Leclerc. But look at the overtake, for Pete's sake. Probably the overtake of the year. How does he do that? And how does he overtake his teammate at chicane 2 at Monza? You're not even supposed to be able to... I've never seen... I cannot recall someone overtaking somebody around the outside of the second chicane at Monza. What? This dude is... I'm telling you. He's different. Maybe he's not there yet. Maybe he's not there yet. Or maybe he is. These are the exam questions for which we will receive answers over the coming Grand Prix. I think that's the intrigue of 2025. I'll be honest with you. Perfect example for what type of raw driver Hajar is. For real, says Dive Bomb. Neil says, who was it last week that said Alpine was as quick as the McLarens in the fast corners? Was it Russell? Maybe this track will really suit Alpine. That's chaos. Unbelievable. Thank you, says Bensi. No S Yoko, aka Safak, you're a legend. Thank you, says Chapman. Brunder's been very biased historically when he was manager to Coulthard. He nearly killed Schumacher from his stupidity, and Brundle said now, yeah, true. Although that was 6 of one, was it 6 of one and half a dozen of the other? I don't know. It's a tough one. No, he did nearly kill Michael Schumacher. But the story around that Belgium, was it Belgium? It was Spa. The story around that 1990-something incident between Coulthard and Schumacher was that Michael was coming to lap Coulthard, wasn't he? And so Ferrari were trying to negotiate a perfect... Coulthard had just gone about his business and was pretending as if he didn't see Schumacher for a couple of laps. Whereas Ferrari had been negotiating over the pits with their counterparts over at Ron Dennis's McLaren, with a view to try and negotiate a good time to move Coulthard out the way. And Coulthard kept on playing hardball, but it's dangerous though. It is dangerous in the rain at Spa when you can't see. Schumacher had zero visibility. Get out the way, Coulthard. So he took a couple laps, and then the point at which he decided to let Michael Schumacher pass was on a straight, not by getting offline, but just easing out the throttle. It's dangerous that. Coulthard was normally a very sports etiquette type driver, almost to a fault, but that time he made a mistake. They since became friends, didn't they? Coulthard and Schumacher always going to always raving it up and drinking together, doing karaoke apparently. Bless them. Go on then. Wind, track and air conditions. 6.5 kilometres coming in from the west as far as wind. Track temperature 65.7 degrees Celsius. Air temperature 28 degrees Celsius. If you want all of these metrics, all of these sexy god tier bits and bobs of data and info, go and download yourself some multi-viewer onto a laptop or a PC, in conjunction of course with F1 TV Access, the cheapest one, 20 quid's worth. Do it if you like yourself some add value metrics, of course. Crackosaurus legend, the Alpine is top car. Crackosaurus, let me know what you think about that merch. It's coming soon, chap. It's coming. Maybe the reason for Gasly to push now is to convince a man on it. It's a good shout, actually. It is a good advance. The Alpine is the top car. Crackosaurus, behave yourself, but lax back. That is chaos. Is it like an 81 March, the Adrian Newey selection, driven by Ivan Capelli? God tier aero, but no maximum. That's chaos if they fix that car. Imagine if they do put... What? How about Alpine so quick? It makes no sense. Jean Todt and Braun had spoken to Ron Dennis. No one talks about it as they hate Schumacher. Yeah, people don't like Schumacher generally. People don't like winners, is the point. That's the point. Little grey. Jomo, you're a gangster. Jomo posting out the multi-viewer link if you want to go and download it. Cam take 25 milligrams zinc with bloody Nora. I'm gonna try that, you know. I am gonna try it. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate you, mate. 100% make on the mods of God tier. What do we do without the moderators extraordinaire? Jomo, Daniel, Umant, Safak, etc. Et al. Even. T-minus 14 minutes on the docket of this. Your FP1 round 5 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix Jeddah niche techie than techie things. As Neos makes their difference 100% of the lap on throttle. Full throttle 75. More like Cameron. Stop embellishing. Tell the truth, Cameron. What are we doing? Gasly is on some different-ish. Easy G, you're not wrong. The way OJ let Max dive bomb him in Brazil. True, Umanch. True. Umanch, you make the point. But I mean, is that fair to even compare OJ Piastri in his second season to a Max Verstappen in the wet? when he's got the bit between his teeth and had his Weetabix and he's fired up and angry. Remember Max Verstappen? Remember that whole weekend was bonkers, right? The red flag circumstance, Stroll yeeting it into the barrier, so Max Verstappen couldn't get his qualifying lap. So he was fuming. Remember he said that in the Red Bull interview that his hands were shaking when he got back to his hotel and his dad had to calm him down. An angry Max Verstappen in the wet at Brazil, mate, competing for a championship. I don't know if that's an exercise in futility to beat that dude at that in them circumstances. I don't know, chat. I think it might be. It's tough to beat him then. Do you know what I mean? You've got to. I feel like Max is a shark. You can't fight a shark in water. Do you know what I mean? You've got to bring the shark to land and then have a go there. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't fight a shark in their natural habitat. So I think with Max, if it's rain, then just damage limitation settings there. Speaking of which, there's a Max Verstappen, but he's on mediums and he's putting in simulations. Fair play. Currently, your runners and riders with T-minus 12 minutes and 7 seconds left on the docket. Pierre Gasly in an Alpine, materially down on horsepower, by the way, on a 29.2. Lando Norris similarly in second on a 29.246. Leclerc 29.3. It seems like everybody's in the mood to do simulation runs at the moment. Mediums is what Lando Norris 1.0 and Charles Leclerc are on. Piastri shortly thereafter on a 29.3. Lando Norris will be loving this. He needs this, doesn't he, Lando? Bless him. I'm rooting for him, but I kind of feel, well, we'll see. Maybe the horse hasn't bolted just yet, but one thing's for damn sure. Oscar Piastri is in ascendancy in his third season. That's the truth. Albon, 129.6. Russell, Sainz, Hamilton, Verstappen, Tsunoda. Oh, the humanity. Tsunoda, look how close Tsunoda is to Verstappen. Both of them on 129.818. 129.821 respectively. But again, this is not a temper your enthusiasm, Cameron. This is not a paid session, sir. Hamilton, how far is your drift of Leclerc? 0.5. Again, not a paid session. You'd anticipate. You've got to hope that Lewis, but again, if Lewis lacks confidence in his rear, instability settings, snap oversteer settings, then there's no worse track for you to come and test that confidence than Jeddah Corniche. Jean Leclerc, that is genius. I love it. I love that too. Max would not last 5 seconds in my ends about straight. Easy, Salvid. Credit to Yuki. How do you know, Salvid? Credit to Yuki being right there about 100% Benzi, but again, not a paid session, We'll see. FP2 is the only representative session, to be honest. Chiba says Lando wins World Drivers' Championships and says, yeah, I like the way I won't run it. I know. Next year will be my year. He's full of quotes, isn't he? Time will hold him to account. Next year will be my year. It's easy to win when you've got the best car, Lewis. It was just luck from Max at Brazil. He's just full of ish, isn't he? Full of it. 450 of you watching Kakoni, do me a favour and smash the like. Just full of it, that Lando chap. I don't know. He makes it hard to root for him. So free is he with his mouth, writing checks that his AWS cannot and will not cash. Very loose, high speed. Oh no, Max Verstappen having issues. It's chaos. Typing, oh my gosh, Croydon, Selvin, jeez. I mean, my ends in Birmingham aren't the fanciest, but I'd argue that Croydon has me trumped, Selvin, just a little bit. I know, Kimi, you're right. It is only FP1, but there are some upshots, right? Some takeaways to be drawn, are there not? as we are T-minus 8 minutes away from the end of FP1 Round 5, Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Oh, the humanity. It's going to get techie qualifying tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, you proved my point, Cam, says it much. Once he's once he's at a deficit in a championship fight, he's formidable. That day, OJ was asked fearful questions and he had no brave answers. Yes, Umanch, even linguist extraordinaire. He knew the answers, but shushed. I don't hate it. Still a bit early though. But again, don't fight a shark in the water, mate. Survive. Live to fight another day if your name is Oscar Piastri. You know what I mean? You can't. Sometimes you can't. I'm a Battersea boy. Let's go, Clive. My missus was near Battersea. Now come, you might have to glaze Gasly. And he's been good. I mean, Benzi. Props. Excellence is excellence is excellence. Do you know what I mean? If Gasly's going to start putting that car in places where it doesn't belong, I mean, I'll be the first. I'm not even a big Pierre Gasly fan, but I'll be the first to give that dude credit. Why? Because Sporting Endeavour par excellence is the restaurant at which we dine most frequently. Have you lot done your duty? Then hit the like. Let's go, you one. Oh my gosh, Carlos Sainz says, shut up. Let me do what I'm doing. Let me do what I want. I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. Do me a favour and smash the like. 457 of you watching concurrently. And to each and every single one of you, I'm grateful in extremis ad infinitum. For there is no channel without you guys, mods, joining in, super chatting, correcting me on my bull feathers, holding me to account. I appreciate you genuinely each and every single time. I'm not going to stop saying it. I will not. I cannot. No, I shall not. Gasly is absolutely cooked here. Hope to see him in Q3 tomorrow. Can you imagine? But again, I think it'll be a different circumstance. But where was he last? Didn't he make 6th? I mean, somebody did say, to be fair, per you guys in the chat, somebody said that Alpine would be quick around here. Somebody did say. My dad lived in West Croydon. Let's go. West Croydon. That's where my train, the Orange Line. Is it the Orange Line? I used to get the train that ended up in West Croydon. Verstappen, Sonoda, Lawson. Oof. Go on then. Let me get some timing sheet out. For those of you for whom I am eyes and ears, nothing much changed, eh? Gasly still tops your timing sheet on a 129.2 with T-minus 5 minutes and 20 seconds left on the docket. Shortly thereafter, Lando on a 129.2. Leclerc, Piastri, Albon, Russell, Sainz, Hamilton, Verstappen and Tsunoda. See out your top 10. Got Lando on 1. Oh, cheeky snap oversteer from Lando. And a cheeky run off accordingly. Sometimes you've got to go straight on unless you want to yeet it into the barrier. Matt's struggling hard in FP1, especially now doing the long runs. Let's have a look. I'll compile the data. We'll go through it in FP1. I'll compile some data and we can pull up some threads. 128. Yeah, he's not quick. But it's hard to know, right? You know that you guys know the gig. It's hard to normalise for the fuel and it's hard to compare lap times in FP1. I mean, if Lewis is ahead of Max, you just don't know, do you? You just don't know. I mean, I consider this. If Max is like basically putting in the same time that Yuki's put in, I would guess that in the RB21 of Maximilian Verstappen, foursome say soon to be 5-time champion, there will be pace. Little Grey will be back 30 minutes before FP2, I promise. Got some bandwidth this week, so I'm going hard. Taking off the accounting cap. It's Good Friday, isn't it? Happy Easter to all of you out there that are celebrating or commemorating. My bad, Croydon cards have been in a troll out. I've been rolling on for. Brit tight Albon deserves some thumbs up. Absolutely, he's been good. I'm not going to lie to you. I know truth and objectivity and all that on this channel. We'll never sacrifice them at the altar of cognitive dissonance. I get it. But I do want Sainz to dunk on Alex Albon's head. I'm keen for Carlos Sainz to nail I just feel like he deserves it. I feel like the racing gods, if they have any the humanity, they have a debt of gratitude that needs to be paid to the one that they call Carlos Sainz, Mr. Smooth. I was going to try and sing the Smooth Operator song then, but my voice isn't, you know what I mean? It's not up to par here. 441 of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour and smash the like if you could, please. Umanch, I will be there, sir. I will be there live and kicking. So long as my voice, even if the voice is sack your voice off, Cameron. There's F1 to talk about, do you know what I mean? Even if you have to come up here and like type some things into the forget it. I was watching one of my favourite podcasters the other day, and they were just moaning about, it's so stressful, the podcasting life, and it's like, what? I don't want to hear that. Just like, if you don't like your job, then don't come to work, as my friend would say. Happy Easter, Benzi, you're a legend. Oh, we'll miss the race on Sunday. Oh no. I mean, you'll catch it on the replay though, Joanna, sorry. Brake issues. No, it's a good shout, Fish Watch. Because last week it was a problem with the brakes, right? He didn't have the dexterity and the feedback through the brakes. I have no balance, says Max Verstappen still. Same old, same old. Wow. It's the problems are multitudinous even over at Red Bull, aren't they? It's not just speed, it's balance, it's pit stops, it's personnel, it's harmony or lack thereof. It's stakes, it's keeping Max, it's pressure, it's automation of the red light during the pit stops. It's where is the redeeming feature at Red Bull at the moment? As far, I suppose Yuki can point to maybe, but what else? Where is the good news over at the Bulls that are red? 2027, the new wind tunnel comes along, but it's now 2025, so they've got to wait another 2 years before they get a proper wind tunnel. Nonsense. This is chaos. 485 of you watching concurrently. We are T-minus 30 seconds away from the end of FP1 Round 5, Saudi Arabia, Jeddah Corniche circuit. Pierre Gasly has done himself a solid, putting a 129.2, is currently topping your timing sheets and will be as at the end of FP1. Oh, the humanity, what are we doing here? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, race upon resurrection day. Let's go. See it there, Kyrie? See it there? I was talking to my mum and my auntie, and they were talking in the, you could just hear the patois through their text. Something feels weird, says George Russell, under the brakes. Everybody got braking issue. I can't put my finger on it. Something isn't right. Back off. Something's not feeling right, says King George Russell. Everybody's got brake issues, King George. First it was Gasly glazed tire and count. I know he's not been bad, but he's got to do it in the paid sessions. Q3 is where this ish counts soon to be for her. Andrew says, oh, soon to be 5-time champion is barely in the top 10. Where is your truth and objectivity? I'll have to take a bat. I mean, I might have to retire the moniker if indeed this form carries through to the paid sessions. What am I talking about? Q1, Q2, Q3. That's when this ish counts, really, Andrew. It's a bit premature for me to retire it now. Do you know what I mean? 4 soon to be 5-time. It's a good phrase, that. Whoever came up with that is a genius. Umar says, I'm kind of tired of the Max transfer news, to be honest. I was thinking about it objectively. Should any driver be entitled to sit in the fastest car? Absolutely not, Umar. No. No one's entitled to anything around. This is F1, for Pete's sake. No one's entitled to sit in the fastest car, nor is anyone entitled to championships of the drivers, nor constructors variety. However, I'm upset Max fans are quiet, Selvin. I feel like we were talking that way in Suzuka FP1, and then we know what happened then. Selvin, keep your powder dry, sir. It's not time for the Max naysayers to celebrate. Not just yet. Not just yet. I think no, not just yet. Chill out with that, I think. I think you'll be quick around it. Go back and watch 2021, Selvin. Sector, I know you yeeted it in Sector 3 wasn't his best, but Sector 1 and Sector 2, that thing looked like the Tron remake. It looked like Wipeout 2097. That lap, the way that it was filmed is one of the greatest things that I've ever seen in F1 ever. Just makes no sense. But I digress. Right, chat, I'm going to go. Make on you a legend. Happy Easter to all of you out here celebrating. I will catch you 30 minutes before FP2, where we'll diatribe and talk some nice little bits, rewind and have a look at the first 30 minutes of this conversation, this stream. Some decent bits on there talking about Oscar and Lando that I think you'll enjoy if you are late to the party. Supermax incoming, says Crackosaurus. Watch Cameron CC is going to duck on us in it. I've got to kneel. We'll be back 30 minutes before FP2. Go and check out the merch. A cheeky Yuki Tsunoda jumper and a very cheeky Supermax sweatshirt, t-shirt even, will be on there between now and FP2. Thank you for watching. You guys have been legends as always. To each and every single one of you, I am grateful ad infinitum, particularly the super chat gang, particularly the moderator extraordinaires amongst you, and particularly the elated peddlers who have joined the club. Thank you so much. I'll catch you 30 minutes before FP2. Between now and then, the prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.